Christchurch Mosque shooter sentenced to life imprisonment without possibility of parole. The mass shooter who slaughtered 51 worshippers at two New Zealand mosques was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The March 2019 attacks targeting people praying at the Al Noor and Linwood mosques shocked New Zealand and prompted new laws banning the deadliest types of semi-automatic weapons. They also prompted global changes to social media protocols after the gunman live-streamed his attack on Facebook. The judge imposed the maximum available sentence to the 29-year-old Australian gunman, the first time the sentence has been imposed in New Zealand. Judge Cameron Mander said the shooter's crimes were so wicked that a lifetime in jail could not begin to atone for them.
Did you make sure we didn't okay, so when you suggested this, I said be careful not to mention his name. Do you think that's something that we need to be concerned about, not mentioning the guy's name? Do you think this is or people are just is there a point about people don't mention his name, people can just look up his name. Why do we not mention his name?
So oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of what the YouTube gods would.
No, morally, I don't give.
No. So this was started because of a movement, I believe, called the No Notoriety movement, something along those lines. And it's basically the intention is not to help give these mass shooters and active shooters the notoriety that they are often looking for. Not giving them the recognition that they're looking for, not giving them the sort of social martyrdom that they're looking for. They're clearly a bad guy, but if fueling the identity of that individual as this bad person. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah, I guess, and I'm hoping that has an influence in actually reducing crap like this.
That's the point.
That's the point. And I hope it works. I hope it does work. I do want to address the people who keep saying stuff like this. Hold on. Hang him, save the cost of a prison cell for those years. I'm against capital punishment. Do you think that if you come out and say no, do not hang this guy, people are gonna become extremely uncharitable to your position and say oh my god, you're defending a monster like this by saying that you don't want them hanged? If I say here's the thing, a lot of people oh, kill him, hang him, torture him, and if I come out and say no to torture, no to capital punishment, no to any of that. Do you think I would be accused of actually defending a monster like this by saying that? God damn it, who's
I know I'm not in the Facebook chat, so I can't get rid of it.
All right, so
but
yeah,
in terms of that, I don't think that's in any way a position where you are defending him in any way. You are not defending his crimes, most certainly. My understanding is, at least from data in the U.S., so again, this is exclusive to the U.S., that it actually costs less to have someone in life imprisonment without parole than it costs to have them on death row. Again, that's specific to my country.
No, but I don't think they actually they mean that they just want they want revenge. They want the guy to suffer or die. I think it's more of an emotional thing.
Completely. It completely is. And one of the reasons why I'm against the death penalty is that there is absolutely no evidence or data to support the fact that it helps prevent disgusting acts like this. It's ineffective. And yeah.
Yeah, okay, so no, I think people don't understand that no matter what emotionally you desire to happen, once you want to happen to people, we know what works in the civilized world. We encourage due process. We encourage not we're against torture, we're against capital punishment, and I think like it's easy to defend those. Like people are like, okay, yeah, I'm against all of those things, except they always say like, except a case like this, right?
Exactly. There are no exceptions.
There shouldn't be any exceptions, because and it's funny because when people defend values that don't need defending, when it doesn't really need defending, you know what I mean? It's easy, for example, to fight for due process and fight for free speech and fight for human rights when there's no challenge to it, right? When you say I support free speech except, or I support human rights except for this person, when I say human rights is not human rights unless it's defending the worst kind of people.
Exactly.
And free speech is not free speech unless it's defending the worst kind of speech, right? So these are the moments that we're being tested to see if we're actually signing up for the values that make some countries better than the others, right? This is when these values need defending. Now, you don't defend these values when it's easy. You defend these values when it's difficult, when it's a challenge to defend. When you're defending the rights of people that you hate, right? You only know if you're standing up for Enlightenment values if you defend the rights of the people that you are disgusted by. And this is a good AJ saying, I disagree. I think suffering in a cage for the rest of his life is far better for him. So here's the thing, AJ, but this is a defense. This is a defense because a lot of people. So here's the thing: this is not about making him suffer. This is about what works in the system, right? Because a lot of people say like, "Oh no, I'm not defending capital punishment. I'm defending life imprisonment because I think he will suffer like that more." But the justice system is not meant to be for figuring out what makes the person that it's not about revenge. It's not about making the person that we despise suffer. That's not the whole point. The whole point is to reduce harm, to prevent people from doing more harm like this, right? So whenever we're trying to figure out what the justice system needs to do, you shouldn't be like, okay, I want maximum suffering for the people that disgust me, right? That is not how we should look at the justice system. The way we should look at the justice system is what is it going to make it the least likely for harms like this to happen again? If it ends up being suffering of the person who does this, so be it, right? If it ends up being the suffering of the criminal will reduce the chances of other people doing the same thing, then I will support that, but not because I want revenge, because I'm going to support whatever has proven to reduce the chances of more people suffering in the future. It's a strictly utilitarian perspective rather than a perspective that requires my personal desire for vengeance. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Completely. Plus, it appears to me, based on some preliminary Googles, that both New Zealand and Australia do not even have capital punishment.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people, I think, in the live chat or in the comment section, they were like, "Oh, I would like this person should be burned alive or something like that." That's what I want to see. I'm like, well, I'm glad you're not in charge of anything if that's what you want. I don't know.
Right?
Yeah. Justin is saying, what does suffering prove? Why bother? Why should law make people suffer? Yeah, the law should protect people. The law is not the justice system is not there to satisfy people's desire for revenge. The justice system, the government is there to protect us. AJ is saying, that's what I mean. I'm against torture and death penalties, but he owes a large debt to the families of those he killed who are suffering. Yeah, he does. But again,
I've watched a lot of the videos of family members and survivors testifying at his sentencing hearing, and it is extremely moving. I cried. And I mean, I guess there are some people who are like, Susanna, why is this good news? To me, this is good news because a violent and deadly anti-Muslim bigot is being put away and kept away from society for the rest of his life.
Right.
I don't want him harming another Muslim or anyone who he deems to be outside of his. He was fueled by some racial supremacy, right? I want someone like that to be unable to harm other people ever again. And the sentence that came down on him will help make sure that that's reality. So that's what's positive to me.
Right. Mars saying, I don't know, let me see if I could pronounce this right. Retributive versus restorative justice. Michael Shermer has a good chapter on this in one of his books, arguing for the latter. Interesting. Okay, cool. Check that out for anybody who's interested. AJ saying, I read his manifesto. Well, what a horrible mind. Yes. Yes. Oh, by the way, do we know if he was an atheist?
I don't know that off the top of my head now.
Okay. If he was, would we have to come out and say like, oh, we do not condone this, like as atheists? Like, I don't know. Is that something that we're supposed to do if an atheist does something like this? Like, is it our responsibility to? I mean, we are already calling it out, but would it be more of a responsibility of us to come call it out? Oh no, people are saying he's Christian. Okay.
Interesting.
But even
hypothetically, I would feel more of an onus, and I would feel a definite responsibility to call it out if in any manifestos or previous writings he gave that as some reason or motivations for his actions. Even if he didn't give that as an explicit reasoning for his actions, I would still call it out. Yeah.
So here's the thing, though. We have to be careful because a lot of atheists, I think, because he's Christian, are going to be like, oh, look, this is because of Christianity. And it seems like his motivation had nothing to do with Christianity, right? So just because somebody is a Christian and they did something, do not like the knee-jerk reaction for some atheists that want to blame everything on religion. There's enough things to blame religion on. You don't have to go find something new that is it doesn't matter if he's a Christian but if Christianity was not at all his motivation, then do not go be like, oh, this is because of Christianity. Okay, this is most of his white. Did you already say the WS word?
No,
You didn't. Okay,
racial supremacy.
Okay. Oh, racial.
I hope that's not too close.
Yeah.
For those who are new, we have to come up with coded language because of the YouTube gods. So
YouTube gods, YouTube gods don't like us to
playing along. If anyone in the live chat needs to clarify what we're
talking about. How about low melanin supremacy? Low melanin supremacy. Okay, so the low. Okay. So his ideology was low melanin supremacy. Okay, I hope the YouTube gods let us say that. Yeah, I like that low melanin supremacy. Okay, good. I don't actually like that ideology. I'm just saying I like the
catchphrase, coded language.
Yes. AJ is saying he also said he wasn't racist, but believed the different races should be separated as God intended. Jesus Christ, man.
Which is really bonkers. He was fueled by some weird kind of like ecological motivation as well, like preserving resources for his race, specifically in the face of global climate change. Very weird combination of eco-terrorism and low melanated supremacy.
Serious news.
It is.
Okay.
I'm laughing at the lengths that we have to go to be able to actually talk about the terrible things in this world. It's ridiculous that we have to code ourselves to call out people who are as reprehensible as this, because the algorithm can't tell when we are condemning something just because we have to talk about it in plain terms.
Right. All right, news. Thank you for joining us. Subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell thingy. If you haven't, I don't know why. What's holding you back? Okay. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, why haven't you subscribed to our channel? Explain that to us, please. Like, bell, and also if you're not getting notifications and stuff because YouTube is not telling people that we have shows, because YouTube is like, oh, this person told us that they want to get your shows, right? They want to get your videos, but nah, we think is no. And they also hit the bell button, but nah, you guys are too controversial. We want to show them mainstream stuff. We want to show them CNN or cat videos or whatever. But even people are like, no, we want to see Atheist Republic. And YouTube is like, no, we don't think you want this. We're like, no, please show it to us. We say to you, we want to see Atheist Republic. And YouTube is like, no, we think we know what's better for you than you yourself. So to solve that, there's a link in the description, which is to our newsletter. So hopefully we could email it to you. So hopefully you get some of our content that way. Okay. So yeah, subscribe to our newsletter as well, and share our videos, because we do get demonetized. That's an obvious on every one of our videos. So F that. But we don't care about that anymore. But we also get deprioritized, and that's even more damaging to us. Deprioritized, what does that mean? That means we don't show up on the suggested, videos on the right and all that, on people's homepages, and that's how channels grow. Unfortunately, we can't grow, so we need you guys to share our videos.